Former WWE superstars are headed to Impact Wrestling. We're going to talk about it in today's video as well as some other stories. So as always, I'll put the timestamps in the description down below. We're going to kick things off with Vince McMahon. Guys, this headline, this article, it definitely got me thinking. So several wrestlers in WWE are happy to see Vince McMahon back. Triple H is more focused on building heels. Now, this came from Wade Keller, who said he spoke to two wrestlers who are pro Vince McMahon over Paul Triple H Levesque. He said that the people he spoke with are at least very happy that Vince was back contributing to creative. He says the wrestlers who are more sympathetic or okay with or even somewhat happy with Vince returning, the wrestlers I talked to directly like Vince better, but they also indicated that they are not alone and that they are happy that Vince is back. Now, I'm not even going to go on to continue reading this article because WTF, okay? I always said that wrestling is like the middle of Tony Khan and Vince McMahon. Therefore, Triple H comes in, we get a little bit of a reset. It feels like a new WWE, a little bit more attention to detail, fresh new faces. Of course, there's going to be people who don't like change. That is obvious that people are going to come into the company and not like change. And quite honestly, if you are somebody who was used on TV under Vince McMahon and Triple H comes in and decides not to use you, of course you're not going to like Triple H. Use common sense. Now here's the reality. Look at everything that has been brought up by Vince McMahon in the last few years. And you know what? At the end of the day, it was time for a change in the WWE. And that is why it's so incredibly beautiful that the wrestling industry is so healthy right now. Because I can't imagine as a person, if I didn't like my job or if I didn't like my boss, I can't imagine why I would stay at that job. That's the reality. So the good thing is AEW exists, Impact Wrestling exists, MLW, New Japan, AAA, CMLL, all of these companies that exist. And there's so many places that are paying wrestlers very well and they're taking care of their wrestlers as well. So if you don't like Triple H's booking, maybe you're a fan of Vince McMahon and you're a wrestler in the WWE, that's fine. You have the right to feel that way. But at the end of the day, I don't think you can use that as an excuse for everything that has happened with Vince McMahon. I don't think you could use that as an excuse for anything really, because ultimately a job's a job. And when you work a job and you don't like your boss, leave. Leave. When your contract is up, Don't talk about money. Don't look at money. Don't do any of these things. And I think that's a really important thing to have. Of course, people are going to be happy for Vince coming back because Vince, utilized a lot of people and Triple H utilizes a totally different roster. There's a lot of people who are under the Vince McMahon era and we don't see them in WWE anymore. But guess what? This is the new reset for WWE. This is the fresh start for WWE. WWE's now with Endeavor. You got to do things to switch it up. You got to change things. You got to try something new. You can't, look, nobody's asking somebody to reinvent the wheel. I say this all the time. I said it about Tony Khan. I say it about WWE. You cannot reinvent the wheel. You just got to drive the damn thing. Put people on TV. Create fresh storylines. Create continuity, progression. Make the little details matter. And most importantly, be logical in the sense of while you're doing it all, right? So in my head, I'm thinking that this is a funny article and it's a funny story to begin with. But you got to use common sense. Of course, people who aren't being used on TV would probably like Vince McMahon's booking a little bit more. But I still stand firm on this. I think everything that Triple H has done thus far has created a far more entertaining WWE product than we have seen in the last several years. Guys, WWE has some crazy plans for Night of Champions. 3 different sources came out with this. Boozer, Worked Wrestling, and even Zero News is coming out with this. So, of course, anything, subject to change. We know that's how it kind of goes in wrestling. But WWE plans on having Sami Zayn in Saudi Arabia for Night of Champions. The reported plan is that WWE is going to build a tag team championship match between Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn against Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa. Now, throughout the next week or so, WWE will be building this storyline apparently by doing some stuff with Jey Uso and the Usos getting upset with Roman and Roman being upset with them for not winning the titles, making them look bad. And I am so curious to see how WWE is going to go about this. But I'm going to be pretty clear here. I do not think Night of Champions ends with Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa walking out with the tag titles. I think WWE is ready to really accelerate I think WWE is ready to really accelerate the process of breaking up the bloodline. And if Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa are taking on Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, I think Jey Uso is going to cost Roman the tag titles. I think that's when we really see the big split. And that's why this would be another tag team championship match with a very big ending. And honestly, if it goes down the way I'm fantasy booking it in my head and the way I see it going, I think there's a lot of money in that. Look, right now, I don't think there's a lot of viable challengers for Roman. They haven't really done a good job of building up that guy to beat Roman or to even look like they could beat Roman. So why put them in that match? Why make anybody look weak by losing to Roman at the pay-per-view? I think that's a serious thing that we got to discuss. So if you're going to put Roman and Sikoa in the match, right? I'm for it, man. I'm for it. But I do want to point this out too. We need the tag team division back on track. I thought that was the point of Owens and Sami Zayn. So this has to be the last match where Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are dealing with the bloodline. And I think you got to move on from it. And I think it's interesting because Sami Zayn for years has not been able to go to Saudi Arabia. And now it appears that actually will be changed, and it looks like he'll be there. So big stuff for WWE. Can't wait to see how it goes down. Obviously, a lot of intrigue. You want to see some intrigue with the bloodline storyline. This is definitely going to get you there. And yeah, now we're going to continue moving on. We're going to talk a little bit about Impact Wrestling. Some very cool stuff here because WWE has former stars headed to Impact Wrestling for Under Siege. Impact Wrestling announced today that former NXT UK stars Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster will make their Impact Wrestling debut as a tag team later this month. It was announced via Twitter. They are going to be known as Subculture. They're going to be with Danny Luna, and they will challenge Ace Austin and Chris Bay for the Impact Tag Team Championship belts May 26th at Under Siege. Now, for those who don't know, Mark Andrews actually used to be in Impact Wrestling before he went to WWE. And I think this is cool, man. I think, you guys, if you watch my videos and I talk about Impact Wrestling, I think they do a lot of cool stuff. I think there's a lot of great things that could be done. I'm excited to see Impact bring in people. And again, Impact is not bringing in the most massive names, but they're bringing in people that are really good at characters and really good at wrestling, and they're really good at storytelling, and they're really good at these things. And I think that's why Impact is such an enjoyable watch for me personally. It's easy to watch. It's a 2-hour show. Everything feels somewhat important. And yeah, this is a match that doesn't really have a storyline attached to it, but it's also an Impact Plus special. It's not a pay-per-view. It's not, I think they're doing this, and it's a cool thing to see them do it. And really, I don't think this stops here. I think a lot of WWE people who were released or let go or left the company requested their release. I think seeing them go to Impact would definitely make sense. I want to know what you guys think in the comment section down below. I appreciate you always for watching and staying tuned. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.